everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you wanted to join me today because today I'm going to talk about the low impact movement. I've been asked to do this video, sorry if my voice is just a bit off. It's in the morning and I haven't talked to any people yet, so what you gonna do? But several people have asked me in the comments of my videos to just comment upon or review or talk a little bit about this new movement. Let me just start by saying I am all for Sustainably Vegan's initiative. I think it's amazing that we have more and more words that can describe how you feel, and especially in a context of sustainability and conscious living. I think it's great that we don't have this universal term that everybody has to fit within, but that we can expand ourselves a bit. I think that's really, really nice. So I thought I wanted to talk a little bit about the low impact movement. I will also leave Sustainably Vegan's video down below, obviously, because I do think they should go and watch that. She explains everything very, very nicely, and I'm just going to explain what she explains, very briefly for people who haven't watched the video but still go and watch it. Yeah, there has been this migration from zero waste to low impact, and I do understand why. One of the main arguments is that zero waste in its term leaves people with the impression that you have to be perfect in order to use the term or in order to fit in, and I do understand why that is a lot of pressure. I have several videos about this topic and how I also think that it's a lot of pressure. My personal opinion is that even though zero waste in its term describes the notion of zero, which is perfection in this context, you don't have to be zero, but it's not so much that you are zero, but that you're aiming for zero that I think is important. But of course not everybody aims for zero as well. But low impact also embraces lots of other concepts than just solid trash, and I'm so on board with that because I've just recently, I don't know, but I'm getting more and more into talking about plant-based foods as well. And that has really nothing to do with zero waste in general, but it has everything to do with low impact. So in that context, I do understand why that is a more embracing term, because you can talk about lots of different topics within the term. It's like an umbrella term. Another thing I do believe that the low impact movement embraces in a lot better manner than zero waste is the amount of solid trash in contrast to the amount of non-visible trash. Of course, zero waste focuses a great deal on the solid trash. We have the trash jar that I'm not the biggest fan of, and generally the focus is on the trash within your household. However, the products that we use, whether they are packaged or not, they have some sort of story with them and they create trash within their production. And low impact also embraces that element of it, which I do think is really, really nice, because you can easily go down to your butcher shop and buy hamburger meat and put it in your own jar and call it zero waste. I did that when I started my journey. However, I now know that there is so many resources and so much trash and so much waste in context with hamburger meat, for instance, within its production. So it can never be zero waste. Even though you can't see the trash, it's still there. So I do think that low impact embraces that part of sustainability and conscious living a lot more, which I do think is nice. I do appreciate that. So I've seen several people make videos about how they are ditching zero waste in favor of low impact. I do understand why they do that. I do understand why that is a better term in so many ways. I myself do not have any plans of switching, an official switch from zero waste to low impact, making a video saying I'm not zero waste anymore, but I'm this and this instead. I do understand why people want to do that, because there is a better term, and of course I want to support it in every way I can, but I don't think I'm going to ditch the zero waste term, because as I said, for me at least, or when I talk about zero waste, it's not so much that I produce zero waste, it is that that is my goal, to produce zero waste, and that's why I'm talking about it. So I know that people use the term zero waste very, very differently, and I also think that's one of the points Sustainably Vegan makes, that the term in itself is used quite differently, and its origins has actually something to do with manufacturers and materials and products, and zero waste material wise or zero waste product wise. So I do think that is a term that lacks some sort of definite form, because people use it all different ways, of course, obviously. But I am still going to use the zero waste term, obviously, but I want to give a shout out to the low impact movement, and of course I'm going to follow the low impact movement, and I do think as well gradually integrate the low impact lingo into my talks and whatnot, because it is also just a really good gateway and just a really nice humanitarian way of talking about waste. Because zero waste within the community, I often see people being very strict, both to themselves but also to each other, and I don't think that's a very healthy way of communicating conscious living. Whereas the low impact movement, also because it's so quite new, there is not this sort of you have to be perfect or you can't join in. Sorry, I'm not saying that everyone in the zero waste community is like that at all, because obviously we are not. But I do understand why the term embraces newbies better as well, which I'm going to love. I'm probably going to use the term quite a lot when I give lectures and workshops and talk to people that does not engage in zero waste or that doesn't really know what it is. I am going to talk about low impact then, because it's just a really nice way to get into it. It's like a gateway movement as well, really, which I love. I really love that. So I'm going to be using the term, and I'm going to integrate it when I talk about sustainability, because I do think it's a very relevant movement, and I think it's going to gain a lot of support very quickly. So many thumbs up for having this initiative and for doing something that improves and betters the world. I really appreciate that. I am going to still use the zero waste term, however I'm also going to use the low impact term, because I think what it teaches is very important also to people who is already within the zero waste community and people who already have their routines down and everything. We can all improve and better ourselves, and I do think embracing the invisible trash is very important as well. So that was just me, just for a while, just keeping you guys updated on what I think about this topic. I was requested to talk about it, but I wanted to do that anyway because I see other YouTubers talking about it and I do think it's important. So yeah, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, leave me a comment down below. Tell me, what do you think about the low impact movement in contrast to the zero waste movement? What do you prefer? What terms do you use when you talk about yourself? And would you consider supporting the low impact movement? I would really like to know that. Leave me a thumbs up, that would make my day. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. That would also make my day, by the way. I hope to see you guys in my next video and take really good care of yourself until then. Bye!